Hello everybody. Yes, this is the Zhiyun Crane 4E. Yes, this is a Blackmagic cinema camera 6K full frame on it. Yes, it is balanced, as you can see here. And I'm here to talk about my experience with the Crane 4E, my experience working with the FX3, as well as the cinema camera 6K full frame. I'm also going to be talking about what I think about it, what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and I'm also going to be talking about including this little guy, which is, as you can see, a focus motor that is used right here. So all that and more, tune in for more. Hello everybody, my name is James Jackson. If you're new here, I do tips, tricks, news, and reviews for the film and video making industry. So if this is content that you like, definitely make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell so you can stay up to date on all the content going forth. This is the Crane 4E. Now, you've probably seen a couple videos on YouTube. I know I'm kind of late for this, but Zhiyun was kind enough to send me this to just try out for myself. I do get to keep it, but they haven't seen this video, and they don't tell me anything what I need to say. They just would like my honest opinions about it and my experience on it. So as always, I will give you guys my honest opinions. So regarding to this, there was a earlier gimbal that was called the Crane 4. Yeah, the Crane 4. And this is the Crane 4E. So, and when you look at the specs, it's like there isn't that much difference. And that's sort of been the kind to talk about in YouTube. And pretty much that's it. Really, the main difference is that you don't get the you don't get the balance lights on like you do on the Crane 4, and you don't get this little light on the side, which I'll be honest, were a bit more of a gimmicky to me. I don't really ever see myself using that. I would rather have lights on my own. So though I did think the balance lights were awesome, I'm pretty experienced in terms of balancing gimbals, as you can see with a camera like this. So it's not that big of a deal or big of a loss. There is something that I do believe I need to mention, that there is a bit of a difference in terms of the weight capacity. If I remember correctly, the Crane 4 can hold up to a max capacity of 13 pounds, whereas the Crane 4E has the capacity of being just under 10 pounds. So there's roughly about a 3-pound max capacity difference between the 4 and the 4E. Now, if you guys are interested in the Crane 4E, I do have affiliate links down in the description below where a little commission comes my way and no extra charge to you, and just helps support the channel and helps me continue to grow. And I always appreciate you guys' support. I'm gonna just tell you right now, I have set up my Sony FX3 with my whole entire compact city setup, and I was able to balance that whole thing without issue. And as you can even see here, it can even handle something like the Blackmagic cinema camera full frame with this cinema lens. This is the 7 Artisan Spectrum 35mm lens, not obviously the heaviest, but it holds it well, and I can throw focus about it. More on the focus motor later on. Now, in terms of just how it is experienced using this gimbal, I think I need to give you guys a little bit of history, and I'm gonna put this guy down for a bit because I need to show you my history with Zhiyun. As I will bring up right here, this right here is the Zhiyun Crane 3S. I got this guy when it came out all the way in, I believe it was 2019. So it's been about 5 years since I've had this, and as you see, I don't really use this often because it's collected quite a bit of dust here. And the main reason that I haven't used it in a while, even though I loved it, especially when I was really operating with much heavier cameras like my C200, my C70, they were great at the time for the Blackmagic pocket cinema cameras. When you really had to build them out, they were great, and this was great. But this thing weighed a ton, and it just wore me out. going from that, even just now, just picking that out without anything, comparing that to this, what with this handle, this is just right now, just with this little handle and this wrist rest accessory, this just makes the whole shooting experience so much better. And the fact that like when I'm done or I need to transfer something, I just need to go into briefcase mode, just go like this. Very easily, simple. It's just in terms of just like I said, going from the Crane 3S with that big heavy setup to this just feels night. It's just night and day. So that in terms of that experience, it's just been a joy. And then in terms of like balancing and calibrations, there is an automatic calibration on here. However, I personally feel, especially when you're dealing with something like the cinema camera 6K or one of the Blackmagic pocket cameras, it's better to just kind of do some manual adjustments yourself and just really just calibrate it to your own liking. While the calibration does do a decent amount of job, it sometimes just throws things off to where I kind of feel like I need to do some things on my own, and that's kind of where I am with this, where I still do some balancing acts. And one of the things you definitely want to adjust, I personally feel, is the deadpan, because as you're walking, sometimes when you're walking, there's a sway. Especially when you're dealing with lighter cameras. With the cinema camera 6K, it's not really there on this, but with lighter cameras like my FX3, especially when I'm in minimal mode on the FX3, that sway is very noticeable. So I personally would just tell you guys just to crank up, like try to tweak the deadpan so where it definitely drags a little bit more instead of just being completely follow, just to smoothen things out. And in terms of using like this joystick, it's been pretty easy. I like the fact that it's right here. However, I know I'm a righty. I'm a right-handed person. I can pretty much, I understand that if you are left-handed, this setup kind of, as you see here, kind of doesn't really make sense. So this is really a right-handed person. So if you're right-handed, this is a setup. If you're a left-handed, you may have some issues with it. So just something to keep in mind. I kind of did wish Zhiyun, I do wish the next iteration you do of the Crane line, that you have the joystick in the center, so both right-handed and left-handed can actually, take advantage of this. In terms of something like the Vortex Mode with the infinite spin, very easily set up. So even with the Vortex, with the cinema camera 6K and all that weight, as you can see, infinitely spinning. Yeah, so works really well. In terms of balancing it, it's very easy. It's like pretty much most gimbals, you just go through the process. If you haven't seen my video on balancing the Blackmagic pocket cinema camera I made years ago for the Crane 3S, go watch that video. The balancing is essentially the same process of doing it here. The only thing I will say is to be cautious of is with the Z-axis, with this one right here. This locking can kind of throw off the balance a little, because especially on lighter cameras, because the weight could sort of seem like it's being distributed over here. Then you put the lock over here and it distributes the weight back over there more. So what I would suggest is to do like a semi-lock, get the balance right, and then close it off, and then you're good to go. I guess we should talk about the arm and the wrist. The wrist is clutch. I've talked about it enough. The wrist is so clutch. Just having that ability to just rest my wrist whenever I need to, and having this side just having another point of contact, just giving smoother shots. And the fact that, again, on lighter, this is a little bit more of a heavier setup, but on something like an FX3, I could shoot all day with this. Even with something like this, I could shoot quite a bit longer than I could on the Crane 3S. Obviously, the only thing is you got to figure is battery life solutions, which with the Cinema Camera 6K, I may have a solution that I'm really intrigued to find out, but that's for another video. If that's something that you guys want to know about, where it's like a battery solution that could potentially be very, very cheap, but also be very travel and like minimalistic, let me know, leave your comments down below. I'll definitely give you guys a video on that. Now I'll go on to some things that I'm not necessarily a fan of. I'll talk about the focus motor. So the focus motor is, first of all, let me just say the motor itself is good. It's very simple. You just plug it in and then you just have to calibrate the motor, and it will, as you can see here, works perfectly fine. And then you can make all the motor adjustments if you want to go a little bit more sensitive, or if you want it to be more sensitive in terms of the wheel, you could do that. The motor isn't really the problem. The motor is actually fine. The only problem I have, and this is the problem I have with Zhiyun gimbals in general, is this proprietary rod support. And Zhiyun, I really wish, this is my, my plea to you guys, please, can you go to a standard 15mm rod setup? Because this rod system is just a annoyance. One, it puts now all of it on the weight on the support on this one little knob right here. The rods don't match up, so I can't use something like 15mm rods on a system like this. So I couldn't use it on accessories potentially outside of it. But more importantly is that with this setup right here, I have a Ulanzi video fast tripod, which I've done a review about it. Go check it out if you want it. Absolutely, I love the tripod so much. I'm actually using it right now on my FX3. The problem is with this here, I can't really put the tripod in place how I would really want to, because it's a quick fast system. This gets in the way and it won't necessarily lock in place, which again is a bit frustrating. I really wish I could have the option where if I have something like this, where I have a rod system already on my camera and use 15mm rods, I can use 15mm rods, but I can't use those with this setup. It has to be the proprietary rod system. For me personally, Zhiyun, please get rid of this proprietary rod system and just go and provide a focus system that has standard 15mm rods, please. Now, if you have something like a Sony FX3 or a camera and lens setup that has autofocus and setup, you'll be fine. You don't even have to worry about getting using the rod system itself. And also, you could probably get something like the DJI Focus Pro Creator Combo Kit and basically attach it, because there's a quarter 20 system right here. So you can probably get a clamp or something where you can attach the Focus Pro system and basically have your system right there. So that is an alternative, and that was probably the direction I would get. I just feel this is just too proprietary for my liking. The only other issue that I have with the gimbal is that maybe it's just me, I've been searching and I haven't really found it. I wish there was a way that I could lock the screen, because I sometimes find myself hitting the screen and swiping into something I didn't necessarily want when I'm moving my hand around. And I really wish there was a way to just lock this. And maybe there is, and I'm just a dummy and I haven't figured it out yet. So if you guys do know how to lock the screen, definitely let me know. I would love to know about that. Overall, I have to say I really like and really enjoy the Crane 4E, and this is probably going to be my go-to gimbal for now on. I'm enjoying it just because of this system right here. This just makes things so easy. I love the fact it just makes shooting much more easier. And anytime you could just save me some work with my back, where I could put more weight on my forearms instead of my back, and allow me to make a living a little bit longer, I always appreciate that. It feels great. Again, as you can see, it can balance cameras like the Cinema Camera 6K it can balance a rigged up FX3 with no issues at all. I really enjoy this Crane 4E. Well, this is it for me, guys, for the Crane 4E. I would love to know what you guys' thoughts are on about this. Let me know, leave your comments down below. And as always, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And until next time, take care, everyone.